behind me is the Bush Furniture Company, a gigantic facility in St. Paul, Virginia, in an area in need of economic development. In 2014, the Virginia Israel Advisory Board promised to put a $3 million biodiesel fuel into production in that facility. It's 2019. There's still no biodiesel facility, but VIAB board member Chuck Lesson still has $210,000 that he received in grants from the Tobacco Commission to work on the project. Where'd the money go? That's beautiful. I would say warning sign that things are getting worse and that this is what happens when you kind of allow the Israel lobby, which normally functions outside of government, although it's hard to tell the difference sometimes, what happens when it actually becomes part of government. And in this case, there really wasn't any accountability. And it's clear from the Virginia media that nobody took notice of any of this, and there haven't really been any signs that it's going to change the extremely tight linkages between VIAB, the state funding pools, and the people who are behind VIAB. So it's a really interesting story.
That's completely crazy. The way that they get away with this stuff. Let me ask you, is there a law in Virginia, do you know, that would say that if the IG finds that something improper has happened, that then something must be done about it? The Attorney General has to pursue something, or a congressional committee must come to order to examine it, or some kind of thing based on that?
No, there's not really any sort of process. What happened in this case was the IG said, look, you just gave money to this VIAB executive to get out of his personal obligations, and you didn't go through proper channels. You should have gotten your board, your executive committee, to approve this, and they only didn't approve it. They suggested that he pay the money back. And so in this case, the Inspector General sent a letter to the same guy who did the dirty deed and said, mend your ways. And he sent a letter back saying, yes, rules were broken, promise not to do it again. And it's not even clear he told his executive committee. It's not clear that the process, it is clear the process is not going any further. But so the corruption in this case, though, is interesting because this VIAB board member, Charles Lesson, tried to bring in an Israeli biodiesel company to set up and start turning waste into fuel. And the whole thing blew up when oil prices collapsed. But rather than repay the grant that he got to set this up and create jobs and capital investment, he said, look, here's a list of other projects that I'm involved in. Now, this is not as an investor, not as somebody who's got any stake, just stuff that the Virginia Israel Advisory Board is doing on the taxpayer dollar.